Hey folks, welcome back to The Real Meat Stick. Today I have Duke with me, and we're going to start off our sausage making process today by grinding up 9 pounds of boneless Boston pork butt and 9 pounds of top round, also known as your roast beef. So let's get started. We've got a long video today. We're making 3 varieties of sausage after we do our grinds. We're going to be making a tomato basil Italian sausage. We're going to be making a mango habanero bratwurst. And we're also going to be making a bacon cheddar jalapeno bratwurst that we're most likely going to be smoking and then grilling tomorrow when we get to a party. However, we're only going to be taking care of the preparation today of grinding up our meats and then making our sausage. So with that said, we've got our red NSF cutting board out. Duke's got his gloves on. He's ready to go. I'm going to get my cutting gloves on. We're going to get started. So we've been talking about this all week, obviously with Memorial Day coming up, what we could bring to a friend's house for this barbecue. And what do you know? Duke came up with the idea. He said, Dad, why don't we go ahead, make some varieties of sausage and we'll bring that by. I got to tell you, as the Real Meat Stick, that's exactly what we should be doing. So I'd love to hear from those out there in YouTube and Facebook. If you can leave a comment down below, let me know what you're bringing to your cookouts this weekend. Or if you're hosting, what you might have guests bringing to your home. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start off. We've got our meat 10-inch Symmeter knife. I'm going to start off with cutting up our boneless pork butt. Pull that out, Duke. This happens to be one of them that I have left over from the last video I did. Each one of these boneless pork butts that we get come in a double pack. And all this meat that I got came from Master Purveyors in the Bronx. And if you're looking for similar meat just like this, Masters happens to have a retail marketplace where you'd be able to purchase all of this online. I suggest you check them out. They're known for stocking some of the finest steakhouses in the country and in New York City, obviously, where you can get your prime, dry-aged, bone-in ribeyes and your porterhouses, your tomahawk steaks, and obviously they also stock choice and other types of meats that they dry-age, and porks and lambs, chicken.
And we're going to cut off the silver skin.
And we might have to cut off some of that silver skin, that's right. Yeah. So right now, Duke, as you can see, our knife is nice and sharp. And we're cutting right through these. And what we're ending up with, check that out, is almost like a pork steak. What do you think of that?
Cool.
Cool. So we're going to cut those up afterwards into chunks. And then after we chunk them, we're going to take all of this meat, we're going to go ahead and throw it into the freezer and get it just to that point where it's right about 30 to 32 degrees. It should take us somewhere between a half hour to 40 minutes to get to that point. The reason why we want to do that is we want our meat, as it's going through the grinder, to be just about as cold as possible. That way it comes out like spaghetti, and we're not heating up the fats and they begin to melt. We're going to save that process for later on after we do our mix, so that we're able to get, once again, that magic word. We're going to look for protein extraction. So look at these pieces, Duke. You think they're about the right size for us to put through the meat grinder?
Yep.
That's correct. Let's go ahead and throw those in. You have your gloves on?
Yeah.
I'm going to push those over to you. I'm going to let you start to throw those in there for me. So what I'm planning is for our tomato basil sausage, our fresh Italian sausage, we're going to go all pork. When it comes to our jalapeno cheddar bacon bratwurst, that one I'm going to do a mix of 50-50 pork and beef. And then when it comes to doing our mango habanero, you know what, I might do that one 50-50 as well. I haven't really given that a lot of thought yet. The other thing that I have that's not included in front of us are vacuum packed bags of fat from our brisket trim that we did and the brisket grind. We still have some fat left over from that. So, like anything else, fat is flavor. We're going to add a little extra fat in. And if I find, which I'm not right now, that this pork would have been a little bit too lean, I have some extra back fat and I have some extra lard that we could have added in. I'm not ruling it out yet, but I'm just putting it out there that it's a possibility that I could add a little bit more into this. Now, of course, if we were doing a trim, everything that's red is money. So if you were in the industry, if you're in the butcher industry, you're in the restaurant industry, we'd want to try to save, if we were trimming this up, from the fat to the pink or the red, as much of this as we could save. However, in this case, since we're grinding everything up, nothing's going to waste. And that's what's so nice about sausage. If you were to go to any of your retail butchers, if you went to your supermarkets, it could be quite difficult to get their trimmings from them. What they do is take all the trimmings that they have in their retail market and they grind them up to make their own in-house sausage, their own in-house meatballs, any of their own in-house provisions. However, when you go ahead and you do this on your own, you're able to maximize the yield on your entire product because it's yours. And very good. We're going to take this whole bag, we'll pop it out. I'm take the whole bag, I'm going to put it right into the freezer, okay? Now, because I'm working in my home and I'm not serving this in a commercial situation, even though this is going to a party, this is really not the type of thing that you'd want to do with regards to mixing the beef with the pork. However, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open this up and put this onto our board, even though I know at this point, this board does have some type of contamination. It's already been touched by the pork enzymes, by any of the bacteria that were in that bag. This is really not the type of thing that we would want to do in a commercial space. In fact, anywhere else you'd want to start with a brand new cutting board or a brand new cutting surface that's been sanitized. But foregoing any type of bacterial issues, since this is for my own consumption and we're not selling this, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. This is our top round. I'm going to take this tub and put it underneath. Take this tub, put it on top. Sir, I'll move it this way for you, make it a little easier.
Oh, we're going to cut the next one.
That's right. And what is this? This is our top round. And top rounds are used for roast beefs.
Red is money.
Red is, that's correct. But in this case, the red that's in this bag, which looks like it's blood, that's not blood.
It's juice.
It's like a meat juice. That's a good way of putting it. We're not going to take the silver skin off. We're going to leave everything kind of on here. There's not really that much silver skin. There is a little bit of fat, but that fat, what is fat? Fat is, give it some thought, starts with an F, flavor. Fat is flavor. So this top round would normally have been a roast beef. Due to my own, we're going to say, idiocracy, I should have had some beef trim ready, but I didn't have the time to go pick up the trim, so I had Masters provide to me an entire roast beef, a whole top round, that will be just as good. We'll get a lot more beef out of this than we would have if I was going with just the trim. So with this, we're going to supplement in some of that brisket. As you can see here, doesn't have much marbleization. What I like with the prime beef is that we do get all that marbleization. That's what prime is about. So in this case, we're going to add in that extra fat. Right now, this is way too soft. It's very tender. It's just way too soft to run through the grinder. So this is the type of meat that I'm going to want to get to that point that we don't just get a crust of frost on the outside, but we are pretty close to being at a frozen temperature. I'm going to move this around this way, Duke, to make this easier for you. And that way you can take those pieces. Thank you, buddy. He's a great helper. For our grind today, we're going to be using our Meat Your Maker 32 size grinder. So pieces like this, chunks like this, very easily will go through. That's one of the reasons why I'm just cutting them a little bit smaller than normal. Once they're frozen, obviously it's a lot harder to bend and shape them to get them into the mouth of the grinder. So I'm cutting them just a little bit smaller. I can fit that through very easily. But once it goes into the bag and gets frozen, then they start to get misshapen, they're crooked, they're sideways. So we're gonna cut them into chunks in the hopes that they don't get too mangled inside a bag when they're frozen. Great, so I'm going to take this bag, pop this one out, put this one into the freezer. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Into the freezer it goes. Oh, we lost an ice pack.
And some juice fill onto the fork.
Some juice. Oh, we'll get the juice afterwards. We'll clean up. I'm sure that we don't want Mom to know when we're making a mess. She'll find out anyway. All right, folks, we'll be right back. Give us about 40 minutes. We're going to allow that to freeze, get as solid as possible. Then I'm going to bring down the number 32 meat grinder, and we're going to begin our meat grinding process. We'll see you as soon as we get back. Hey, folks, welcome back. We're going to go ahead, we're going to pull out our pork and get ready to start grinding. It's been in here for roughly about 45 minutes or so. So each one of these pieces are really well frozen. They even have some frost on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and load the machine up before we get started. We want to make sure that we have plenty of pieces that are already loaded. We never run our machines dry. Duke's going to be manning the power today. He's got an important job. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use about half of our meat to grind through with the pork, and then we're going to use the other half along with our beef. So we're almost done here with what we have. We'll start this grind.
Are we putting all of them in at once?
No, we're not. We're going to put in half of it here, and then we're going to switch containers. Thank you. So I'm going to swap this one out. That's going to be our pork. Now we're going to do a pork, and we're going to do a beef grind. So let's put the rest of our pork in. This is going to go towards our tomato, basil, parmesan, Italian sausage. And then we're going to use the beef, half beef and half pork for our mango habanero and for our bacon cheddar jalapeno bratwurst, correct? Okay, buddy. Turn it on, let it rip. You're gonna go forward. Great job. All right, I'm gonna go grab the beef. I'll be right back. So Duke, we're gonna load in all of our beef, piece by piece. Can you go ahead and turn that on for me?
Forward.
Both. Turn that off. I gotta get a little bit more fat. And fat is what?
Flavor.
Fat is flavor, that's right.
So we definitely want some fat in there.
Definitely want some more fat, that's correct.
Not
All right,
to-
pal, turn it back on. Please.
Should I shut it off?
Yes, please shut it off. That's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, well, you know what we're gonna have to do next, right? We're gonna have to separate it out so that we can start making our mixes. So this one is going to be from PS Seasoning. We're gonna be using the tomato basil parmesan, and then we're gonna kind of mix up our recipe a little bit. We're gonna do half of this as mango habanero, and then we're gonna do the other half of this using the PS Seasoning cheddar mac and cheese pre-made seasoning. We're taking the pasta out of that, so we're just gonna go with a cheddar, cheese. We're gonna use the high temperature cheddar cheese. I'm also gonna add in some fresh jalapeno and some dried jalapeno. So with that said, we're gonna take a quick break, get our seasoning, and divide this up into 3 5-pound batches. We'll see you as soon as we get back. All right, folks, and we're back. So, Duke and I pulled out all of our seasoning. We have out our digital scale. I'm gonna go ahead and tear this thing out. We're using a 1 cup measuring cup, and we are switching over from grams to ounces. So that's now teared out. So what we have here from PS Seasoning, the first one is a tomato basil parmesan. There's a 1 pound bag. 1 pound is good for 25 pounds of meat. So simple math, we're gonna take 16 ounces divided by 5. I believe that comes out to be 3.2, just wanna make sure. So that's 16 divided by 5 is 3.2 ounces. So that's exactly what we're going to add in. Get our scissors out. Measure out 3.2 ounces of our seasoning. And the first bucket that we have here is our pork seasoning, rather our pork that we ground up. This one is going to be our mango habanero. And of course, what we have in here is our 50-50 pork and 50-50 beef. And for this is a 1.5 pound package. 1.5 pounds is good for 25 pounds of meat. So 16 plus 8 gets us 24. Divide that by 5, and we're going to need 4.8 ounces.
It's like mango.
I think we're going to go to 2.4 right there, and then we're going to do 2.4 again. Make our 4.8. It smells exactly like mango.
Or because it is mango?
It is. It's mango and habanero. We're at 2.35, 2.37. Look at that one, right on the button, 2.4. Perfect. Get that in there too. Nice. Now let's move to the last one. This is where the challenge is going to come into play. One of the things that we should be wary of, think about this, is that the cheese we're going to use has salt in it, right? And the cheese is also going to have a certain amount of weight. But I don't think in our calculations that we're considering what the weight of the cheese is. You know what? I don't think it makes a difference either. When we put our cheese in later, we're not going to mix it with the cheese. We're going to put the cheese in before, at the end of our mixing process. You can leave that there.
Doesn't really matter.
Nah, it doesn't matter. You know what we need to do is the math again. So this is 3.25 pounds of mix, which is good for 25 pounds. So what do you think that is? What is 16 times 3.25? Let's see. 16 times 3.25 equals 52. Divide that by 5. Because we need a fifth, we need 10.4. See that one? So now we're going to measure out 10.4.
What does this one smell like?
This one is going to be our bacon, mac and cheese, but we're not putting in the pasta.
Hey look, we didn't make a mess.
We didn't make a mess. And what's our weight? How much do we have to get to?
10.4.
10.4. So we're going to need, let's see if we can get to as close to 5 as possible. Well, there you go. We got 5.2.
Can I dump this one?
Yep, you can dump it. Grab it by the handle. Give it a dump from one side to the other. You're doing a great job. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Gorilla Barbecue. We worked with his daughter not too long ago to bring a brand new grill and propane to his local fire department. Of course, we support our firefighters. I'm a volunteer firefighter myself. I want to give him a shout out. Really proud of him for giving back to the community. When you give in life, you get back. And of course, spending some time, some quality time with his daughter and giving back to the first responders. That's the type of thing that I'd like to instill in my son Duke and my little one upstairs. Yeah, it's just a different smell. It's not that it's a bad smell. It's something that you're not used to. Can you describe what that smell is?
No.
Well, does it smell like bacon?
I can't tell.
Can you take your fingers off your nose?
Yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah, that's a bacon smell. That's a smoked bacon. Or maybe it's the cheddar cheese. I don't know which one is.
Oh yeah, it's cheddar cheese.
It's the cheddar smell. Great. Okay, well, no problem. We're gonna get these out of the way. Nope, don't do that. Put that to the side. I'm gonna get my gloves on and get ready to start mixing. For each one of these, Duke, I'm gonna use a different set of gloves because I don't want to cross-contaminate one to the other. Is it okay if I wear your blue gloves? That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to go ahead and mix these three up, and then I'm going to come right back with you, and we're going to start our sausage making process. So I'll see you in just a couple of minutes. So we're back. One of the things that I had forgotten is when we're making our cheddar, bacon, jalapeno bratwurst was to add in the jalapenos. We're going to use fresh, and of course we're also going to go ahead and use some dry. I also went ahead and measured out, it's 2.5 pounds of high temperature cheddar for 25 pounds. So quick math on that one, we ended up taking 2.5 pounds and all we needed was a half a pound of cheese. So there's just a little over 8 ounces. I like extra cheddar, so I have 8 ounces of cheese that's in this mixing glass. We went ahead and did the protein extraction, mixed these through, added in 1 cup of water, each one of the 5-pound mixes. That way it mixes with the salt. The salt content on each one is roughly 2.5%, and that salt really assists with the protein extraction. The same thing with that water. It's going to help to take down the viscosity of it. So what we have here is our beef and pork mix with the water, and our cheddar, bacon, bratwurst mix. So I'm going to mix this thing through. Actually, first, what am I doing here? Let's add in our dried jalapeno peppers. This one I got right off of Amazon. I'm sure you can get that at your local grocery store as well. Maybe a Walmart, H-E-B, a Price Chopper, or whatever other supermarkets by you. So I've got 5 of them here. I'm going to go ahead and leave the seeds and everything inside. I don't mind that they're going to be a little spicy. I expect that. You know, some of our friends down in Texas, if they have a jalapeno, they throw it right in every time. And if you play a trumpet and you have a jalapeno, you make sure that you let everybody know that you have a jalapeno.
Just like Trumpet Master 77.
That's exactly who we're talking about. Thanks for giving them a shout out. One of our friends from Texas. He's in Texas. The Lone Star State. Think that's enough jalapeno, or should I put one more in?
One more.
That's what I'm thinking. You like a little extra spicy?
Yeah.
Really does smell good, doesn't it?
Better than cheddar.
So much better. I hear that your cheddar's better.
What do you mean my cheddar?
Do you have cheddar? You got the money?
No.
Thought you were still the youngest flexer in the game. Remember, we have an entire cup of dried jalapeno. I'm going to put this one away for later. I have an idea. I know what to do with that one. So we're going to mix this thing through. We're going to get our protein extraction going on. Then we're going to mix in our 1 cup, 8 ounces of cheddar. Boy, it looks like a whole fiesta salad in here. So you know what we're doing now is we mix it through. Even when we think it's fully mixed, we're not done. We have to continue mixing. You know why that is? Because all of these fats and the salts need to help break down the proteins so we get that protein extraction. You know, I'm going to need your help. Can you pull up my sleeve again? You're excellent at doing that. Thank you. You want to get the other one? Nothing like having your son help you out. Perfect. These kids always have a job. Are we taking this to your friend's house tomorrow? This is really coming out good, dude. Look at this. You want to see if we have a little bit of the protein extraction? I don't think we're close yet. Let's see. It's just starting to stick. See that? We're not there yet. But I like the way it looks with all this jalapeno in here. I love the color. What we're going to do with these is we're going to stuff them into our collagen casing that we have from Viscofan. And then we're going to put these on the smoker. We're going to do a cold smoke for a couple of hours. So we'll start at about 125 degrees for an hour and bump it up to 135 degrees for an hour. And then finally bump it up to 150 to finish it off. Probably for an hour, hour and a half. We'll have to check it with our thermopan.
Or the thermo app, which I have.
From ThermoWorks, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to hook up the signal system to the billow system on our Weber Smoky Mountain. We'll do a cold smoke for a few hours at least.
And I can check it from my iPad mini.
That's correct, because it's Wi-Fi enabled. Oh, I can feel it. It's very tacky now.
Not blue.
You want to see the protein extraction?
Yes.
Watch this. Look at that. Look at that. It sticks there. See that? We'll get another handful. See? Even when you think that you're done mixing, there's more mixing to be had. In fact, what we're going to do now, I'm going to ask you to come around and to get that cheese. Can you get that cheese for me? You're going to pour it in.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Come around, get up on your crate. Go ahead, pour it all over it. Nice job.
Oh, I still got some.
You want to use your hand and scoop it out a little bit? Good job. That's all we need. Perfect. And how about you adjust that bag? It's starting to move. We'll move that bag back a little bit. Thanks, pal. Close enough, huh?
Yep.
All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to change the gloves again. I'm going to go get our Viscofan casing. I'm going to get ready to start off with the pork sausage. The first one is our tomato basil parmesan. Then we're going to do our mango habanero. And finally, we're going to do our Texas bacon cheddar jalapeno bratwurst. So we'll see you as soon as we get back. So here we are. We're going to get ready to start making our sausage. We've got our sausage pricker out. We put on our Viscofan 32 size casing, 32 millimeters. It's already loaded onto the front. We tied a knot right into the front of our casing as well. Now we're going to go ahead and load in all of our pork. This, of course, being our tomato and parmesan and basil. Now what I did this time, so that my sausage machine doesn't move around when I'm working, is I went out and got real C-clamps. Ones that I was using previously, I still have hidden back here for these plastic jobs. The problem with these that I ended up getting at a local hardware store, they just don't clamp down hard enough. So as we're putting extra pressure onto the handle and cranking through, what I was finding is that the entire sausage machine, and it was evident in many of the videos, the entire sausage machine was moving around. So what we're going to do different today is we put these C-clamps on. They're on there solid. This isn't moving at all. When we're using a collagen casing like this, there's no need to wet the horn. What I do want to do though is get the sausage pricker. The reason for that is we may have some air that comes through the front. So just want to get that air out. There we go. We're just going to put some slight pressure onto the front. We don't want it to burst. and let it feed itself. Turn it into a pinwheel. There we go. We've done it a lot easier for ourselves. Now we've got a good roast sausage going on, and that's it. We're at the end. That's 5 pounds of sausage right there. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little extra room, cut it off. That casing back a little bit. Give ourselves just a little extra room in the event that as we are making links with this, excuse me, that it doesn't burst on us. And there is our first sausage. Get this, get some of this out of the way. And there's sausage number 1. That's our tomato, basil, sausage, all pork. Now we'll work on our next sausage. We'll be right back. I'm going to clean this out and get ready to do our mango habanero. So now we've gone ahead, we cleaned out our machine, we just loaded in our mango habanero, and we're going to start the sausage making process utilizing the rest of that stick from Viscofan. Went ahead and pricked the end of this as well to get the air out. Now hopefully what we've done is given ourselves enough room to tie that knot again. If not, you can always squeeze a little bit out. Yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. Just squeeze a little bit out of there. The reason why with these we don't wet them ahead of time is that what's nice about this product is it absorbs the water from the sausage rather than if we had used a natural casing and had to soak it for 45 minutes or more to get the salt out. Finally, we're going to get our cheddar, bacon cheddar jalapeno ready. I'm going to go ahead and clean the machine out, and we'll get ready to start on the last version. Okay, and we're back. Went ahead, cleaned out the machine, loaded it up with the last. It's well over 5 pounds at this point. I noticed that because with the cheese in there and the jalapenos and the water, it definitely feels a lot heavier than 5 pounds. I put on the rest of our Viscofan casing, 32 millimeter, poked a hole in the front. So let's get ready. Sometimes this is easier to do when you have a second person with you, so they can handle your sausage. For a sausage this size, it takes more than 2 hands. This is at least a 4-handed sausage. It's a whole lot more than 5 pounds here. Look at this, folks. Tomato, basil, parmesan, mango habanero, bacon, cheddar, jalapeno. Look at what we've made here. So this is gonna be our fresh sausage. I'm gonna tie this into links and leave this till tomorrow. Our mango habanero, I'm gonna tie that one into longer Texas style links, and I'm gonna put those in the smoker. And obviously these, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to make them into larger Texas style links. And then I'm going to put these onto the smoker as well. And these will be cold smoked today. This will be cooked on the grill tomorrow. So, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. This is The Real Meat Stick. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell. And I look forward to reading your comments down below and seeing you in the next video. Take care, folks. So we got the sausages on and we're laying down that cold smoke. We're at 133 right now. We've already had it sit in for 125 for the first hour and 15 minutes. Now we kicked it up to 135. Then after this, we're gonna kick it up to 145 to 150. Let's see how we're doing here. Of course, the Weber holding that temperature real nicely. Like we're getting a little bit of color underneath. We don't really have that reddish color that I've seen. However, it's kind of early in the game, so we'll see what it looks like as the smoke starts to billow back up again.